Today we are going to learn about plasma proteins. What are plasma proteins? Plasma protein is a clear yellowish fluid. So this plasma protein is a clear yellowish fluid portion of blood. It is 55 to 60% of blood. The plasma protein mainly consists of water, which is about 90%, and electrolytes, which are very essential for our body, proteins, which are building blocks, nutrients, metabolites, which helps in metabolism, and then finally hormones, which acts as a messenger. So what we have read, what are plasma proteins? Plasma proteins are yellowish fluid portion of blood, which are about 50 to 60% of blood. Plasma mainly consists of water 90%, electrolytes, proteins, nutrients, metabolites, hormones. In next comes types of plasma proteins. Before going to that, we should know that various dissolved proteins of blood plasma are labeled as plasma proteins, which means different proteins combined with plasma are labeled as plasma proteins. They might be different types like albumin, globulins, and fibrinogens. So, various dissolved proteins of blood plasma are labeled as plasma protein. So there are different types of plasma proteins. So the types of plasma proteins, majority, we are not writing all, we are just studying about majority and major types. So the types of plasma proteins, they are albumin, globulin, fibrinogen. Normal plasma protein concentration is around 6 to 8 grams per deciliter. So let's mention that point. Normal total plasma protein of blood plasma are 6 to 8 grams per deciliter. So let's come briefly about it. Here comes major types are albumin. So albumin is 60% of all plasma proteins. Albumin is 60% of all plasma proteins. And next comes globulins. It is about 2 to 3 grams per deciliter, and I forgot the point that 3.5 and 5 grams per deciliter. 60% is measured in this form. And next comes fibrinogen. Okay, there are different types in globulins. They are alpha, beta, and gamma. They'll be described individually later. Next comes fibrinogen, which is about 0.2 to 0.4 grams per deciliter. And now let's discuss about the clinical manifestations of different types. These all are measured by, they can be separated or they can be taken separately by the electrophoresis. Electrophoresis, in which plasma proteins containing the major proteins like albumin, globulin, and fibrinogen, they can be taken individually out to this electrophoresis. This is the clinical chart which can determine the electrophoresis. This is the normal one, which contains albumin, alpha 1, alpha 2, beta. These are the globulins and fibrinogens in a plate, which can be separated through this electrophoresis. The clinical manifestations could be determined through these. They are like liver cirrhosis, in which albumin decreases and beta increases. In rare cases, we can see the beta and gamma may be seen in cases of fusion. Next comes nephrotic syndrome, in which alpha 2 prominent, which means it is increased or it is enlarged a little, see, than this one. You can see that. And next one is that the globulin increases. These globulin increases, that's what he told. Alpha 2 is prominent and gamma is slightly increased. And then comes multiple myeloma, in which M band is in between beta and gamma. A band newly is formed, which indicates multiple myeloma.